All right. Yes. That's probably the best start of a podcast in the history of podcasts.
It's just my excitement,
Right
being out here shooting with you.
This isn't even a podcast.
Oh, it is. It's a podcast.
No, it's
First
not.
ever.
So John and I just finished shooting up in Aspen. We're on our way to Colorado Springs, and I thought it'd be cool to kind of have just a short conversation like we do in the cars, kind of how our relationship started, kind of how our wedding filmmaking business really kind of took off. And so just had a couple of questions for the man himself.
That's me.
Who's so excited.
Hey guys.
You love being in front of the camera, right?
Oh, I do. And yeah, we'll leave it at that.
If you could go back in time 4 years ago, 5 years ago, and do something differently, or what was something that you wish you had done, or wish maybe you had known when you first started your business, if you could go back in time, what would that one or two things kind of be for you?
Gosh, it's a great question. I think, honestly, there's probably a huge list of things I'd do differently, but yeah, I think maybe number one, first thing is, I think it's easy to just get swallowed up in, gear talk, discussions, technical specs on a camera and 4K, and just get kind of swallowed up in the gear and thinking that you need like the best, like hottest camera on the market in order to create something amazing, or just have a compelling story and make awesome wedding films. But you could pick up a cheap little camera from Walmart or shoot on your phone or something and still like create something moving and really powerful. So I think it's really important. I'm not saying I just think it's really important, obviously, to make sure you have the right tools for the job.
Yeah.
Making sure you get clean audio and having good recorders and, a good camera or two, but not letting that be the thing that gets in the way from you progressing as a filmmaker. And
because you started out with what, like a Canon?
Yeah, I had a Canon 70D, and it was a great little camera. I had a good lens with it, but I just didn't take the time to like learn how to get the image to like look good, and just thought I needed the next camera. I wasn't focusing on storytelling or editing techniques or song choice or interacting with my couples. I was just like so fixated on my camera and thinking that was the only thing that was holding me back.
So if you could go back in time and tell John when you first started, like, you would say worry less about gear and focus more on story or editing?
Yes, I think one of the most like career changing things for me was like really investing like more time into getting to know my couples and connecting with them beforehand. I think anyone who's been in front of a camera or been filmed on their wedding day can relate. Like it's not like super comfortable being in front of the camera, and I think by kind of establishing a relationship with your couples beforehand and coming off as like a friend versus just a stranger with a camera, you build this trust and this connection that is going to allow like natural moments and like real emotion to come out. And that's ultimately what we're trying to capture on the wedding day, is authentic moments and just real emotion. So get to know your couples, and it's gonna also help you build, it's gonna give you more confidence going into the wedding day, because you're gonna feel like you belong there, and that you're just supposed to be there because this couple's excited to have you there. They know you already. You guys feel like friends, and then you're gonna feel more comfortable to ask for shots, to direct them, to pose them, and it's just gonna make the whole day more fun. And I think we spend more time with the couple than anyone else on the wedding day, 10 plus hours, and we really do have the power to either add to the couple's wedding day or take away from it. And
totally.
I think by putting in that work beforehand, we're able to help the couple have an amazing day and get better content too.
I know you still do a lot of that. Like you were saying on our way up to Aspen, you were saying that you kind of are working more on kind of like making sure your email's a little more customized, like you're kind of having that personal touch, like it's not feeling like a big old corporate-y thing, but it's kind of a so you kind of start that personal touch getting to know your couples from the beginning, right? Is that something you still kind of do?
It's yes and no. I mean, it wasn't always like that from the beginning. I think I had, templated emails, and not that there's anything wrong with that, but I think when couples are shopping around or just reaching out to a bunch of different videographers, like if 5 of them send a generic email with just a pricing sheet or whatever included with it, if you have an email that is really personalized and you seem really caring and interested, and they can kind of hear your heart behind it, I think they're going to be more drawn to reach back out to you versus the 10 other people who just come off as robots.
Yeah. I'm thinking kind of like the films that we produce now. I know for me, like I go through a season where I kind of have to turn off social media. I kind of have to turn off watching Wedding Filmmakers, or just kind of, I think there's some of that inspiration that happens, but I kind of have to go through a season to create of like stopping that. But like when you first started out, were you watching a whole bunch of wedding films? Or were you kind of more articulating story, or what would your thoughts be for people that are kind of starting out, and how do you find inspiration for what to shoot even, or what does that look like?
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously super important to find inspiration and have someone to like look up to and whatnot, but
Afflatus.
Yeah, mostly Afflatus. Sort of. No, I do look up to Adam.
He does.
It's amazing.
It's true.
But yeah, I think for me, like the first wedding I shot, like I got this beautiful shot at the time, and it was on this like cheap glide cam off of eBay. I think I had the glide cam even before I had a camera, and I just like ripping around this couple, like, and like the sun's flaring through, and then I paired it with like just this really like epic build of this song, and it just like made me feel something. And I kind of forget your question, but basically like, yeah, I forget your question.
Yeah, just all good. Just kind of like through finding inspiration for how to kind of craft story. And I don't know I was kind of even thinking along lines of like guys that are starting, you just want to go copy other people's work.
Yeah.
Like you see something cool, and then at least my journey, I guess, in a way too, is like I want to copy people's work, and so I would attempt things, but it wasn't working, and I didn't really know how. So you're kind of like almost in a spot where you kind of have to either do your own thing, or I don't know, fall into a generic mode, or just find somebody to try to copy their own work. But I mean, what would you say to the guy kind of starting out his first year of like, how do I do this? Asking those big questions. Like, would you suggest to go find like people and kind of copy them? Would you find? I mean, what would your advice be?
I think the best thing you can do is just take on like a high volume of work, and I think once you shoot X amount of weddings, like you start getting up into higher number weddings, you kind of naturally find what is inspiring to you, and kind of what gets you excited when you sit down and you've got all your footage thrown into it. Like what kind of gets your heart racing, like what's exciting to you. And I think for me it's it's landscapes and people like in beautiful places. I just like, I'm really inspired out in creation, and that took me a little while to figure out.
Right.
But
that's great advice. Just thinking through like what inspires you, and kind of follow that, because if it inspires you, it kind of motivates you to keep going. And also that inspiration, that self-internal inspiration does speak through your films, like, and then eventually speaks to your couples.
Totally.
But yeah, because it's interesting, because when I tell people when they're first starting, I think you learn kind of two important things. You learn the videography piece, but you're also just learning the flow of weddings. You're learning how to navigate through what happens when schedules are off, or what happens if you got family drama, or there's kind of all this miscellaneous stuff that can happen, and you kind of got to learn how to anticipate those kind of shots, or to anticipate what do I do in these moments, how do I spend my time wisely. There's kind of those two big themes of I'm a filmmaker, but I'm also at a wedding, working at a wedding environment.
Yeah.
And so, like when I see your film, especially, I mean, they're not quite as great as mine, but they're pretty good. Like they're all right.
This video's over. Ripping this mic off.
But you see, like all of this just beauty and gorgeousness and love and romance, but that's not like reality. Like the wedding day is a little chaotic sometimes, and it's messy, and sometimes couples don't connect well, and at first, and so you kind of got to work that. So what have you done to kind of like make a wedding film either more beautiful than a wedding day actually really is, or are you more flexible and you go with the flow and just kind of like work with that? Like what's kind of behind the scenes of the wedding day versus your final product of a video?
Yeah, I mean, obviously it's, you can go into a wedding expecting or hoping that, all these, all the elements align. Like you're going to have a beautiful location, like an awesome couple. They're going to have incredible vows. Like you'll have your narrative, you'll have an emotional aspect, you'll have beautiful scenery, you'll have an awesome dance party. Like, you go in hoping that all those elements align, but in reality, that's like very rarely the case, where you have like, in your head at least, like every like perfect piece needed for, this epic wedding film you're going to create.
Yeah.
But, wedding days are chaotic, and you can only do so much. Timelines get thrown off. Couple isn't into it on the wedding day, whatever, they're stressed out. Like so many different things can happen, and you just gotta kind of roll with the punches. And a lot of the times you just gotta look for story and find beauty in the day, like with in your editor, like sorting through all the footage and kind of crafting the story in post-production.
Yeah. Have you found that to be true in some of your wedding days? Like you kind of go into it and have somewhat of a vision of how this will unfold, and then you kind of gotta just let go of that and shift gears completely to...
Definitely, yeah. I mean, almost every time, you get all excited and have this like idea of a shot, or the couple said they were down to do something, but then you run out of time, and you just roll with it, and I think that's really all you can do.
Yeah. Well, I know for you, and it's a little bit cliche to say like story is king and story is so important, but it is true. But I know that those are the kind of couples or films that you're attracted to, is where story is kind of larger than life. So are there couples that you look for that are kind of your ideal couple, or is there a story that you're listening as you're connecting with couples that where you're like, yes, this is the film I want to shoot? Like how do you look for that story element?
Like before the wedding, or what do you mean exactly?
Yeah, a little bit below or before. I mean, like like when you hang up the phone and you're like how do you know when you're like, yes, this is going to be a great story, this has potential for a great film?
Yeah.
Is it in a hotel ballroom? Is it traveling? Is it the couple's connection? Like what is it that you look for?
Yeah, I think it's it's the couple that gets me excited. I think at first it was, and it still is, like beautiful locations and landscapes and stuff, but I think I get most excited when I can really from the get-go like really like pick up and like witness the couple's excitement, and just like you can just see it by the way they interact, the way they talk. Like I try and FaceTime or video call my couples, and if they you can just kind of see the way they look at each other, the way they talk about their wedding day, and if it's something that they've like, it's something everyone's always looking forward to, but some couples it's just kind of, they just get married because it's time. They've been dating 20 years, and it's just like that was just the next step. But I think for couples where it's it really is a super special day and it's really meaningful to them, I think that's kind of what gets me most excited, because I know it's just going to mean so much to them, and they're going to more likely to be emotional and expressive, and and like just really present with each other on the day versus just kind of like, you know, off doing their own separate thing. And they're going to be like just kind of joyful unit, like frolicking around throughout the whole wedding.
Right. Which is fun sometimes.
Yes.
Too.
Yeah.
Frolicking during weddings.
Yes, always. That's usually what I do. That's how I get my shots.
Frolic, that's the key.
Yes.
Frolic while you shoot.
Of course. It's a very organic look.
Well, you and I met, what, 2 or 3 years ago now? How many summers ago was that?
3 years ago.
Was it 3?
It's the best day of my life.
Best. Got Adam and Portuguese Ricardo.
That's right.
Picking you up from the airport.
Yeah, I think it was 2 summers ago.
Was it 2 summers ago?
2 summers ago.
So I know for me, like I've mentioned over and over again, like what a powerful trip that was for me, and kind of starting how I look at weddings and approach weddings. But you also had another guy in California that, did you shoot with him, or did you see Josh's work, or how did you? It was kind of like an inspiration to some of the stuff that you did too, right?
Like with meeting Josh?
Yeah, like were you guys? Did you guys? You guys were like the only filmmakers, right, or something?
We met one night at like our local like farmers market, like through friend groups, and you know we just started chatting, and he was saying he just moved to the area, and he's a really great dude. Like we just kind of hit it off right away, and really easy to talk to, and we just started chatting, and you know, of course, one of the first things you ask someone is, oh, what do you do? And at the time I was working for an environmental consulting firm, but then I was like, oh yeah, and I'm starting to do like wedding videography. And he's like, oh, no way, like me too. And you know, on top of just like kind of sensing that he was a good dude, just, you know, we're kind of the same like part in our career. We were both, you know, getting into the field of wedding videography, and just kind of started a friendship then, and now look at him, Filmmaker of the Year.
Yeah, Josh helped. So was he a little long distance then, or did he change his name at all?
Yeah, so that's kind of been his company name.
Okay.
From the start.
Last year he won Filmmaker of the Year.
On Love Stories TV, yep.
Rockstar Filmmaker of the Year.
It's pretty legendary storytellers.
Stuff is good.
I don't need to share my bromance for him too much. Our friendship is deep.
Well, you guys will be doing a lot of bromancing in November.
We will. Yeah. We're gonna miss you out there.
Yeah. So John and Josh and I kind of started the Immerse Retreat, which we did in Nashville in March of this year, 2018, and then the next one's going to be up in SLO, your hometown. I'm not able to make that one just because we had our 4-month-old. Or we had a baby who's now 4 months, and it's just been a crazy season for me. But you and Josh are going to be there, and what's kind of, I mean, there's so many retreats out there, so many different workshops. What makes Immerse? What are you guys going to be focusing on in San Luis Obispo?
Yeah, we're going to be focusing on a lot of things, but I think some of the main themes are just community and kind of sharing our hearts behind it. And it's called Immerse because you know, we believe that, you know, by fully immersing yourself with, you know, your entire heart and kind of doing it for the right reasons, and, you know, blessing our couples through what we do, like we really do have this incredible opportunity to create something lasting and something that's going to be shared for generations. And just kind of, you know, we really hope to, you know, build people up and encourage them, and, you know, teach them a few tips and tricks that we've learned throughout the years, as well as, you know, all the things that have failed for us over the years. You know, it hasn't been just success after success. It's been a lot of trial and error, and just kind of show people that this really is, you know, something that you can do full time. Because for both of Josh and I, it started, you know, as a dream. We're like, this would be so cool to do this full time, and just kind of encouraging people, and and just getting like-minded artists together, and you know, just having, you know, good conversation and a place where you can meet and hang out and shoot and get inspired, and just find inspiration.
Well, I think there's a lot of power behind that, because, you know, as a when you get into the business, or you don't have a lot of money, and so it's like you learn everything you can on YouTube tutorials, or just maybe emailing people, whatever you can do to kind of gather information and figure this thing out. But actually, like, getting away from your computer, getting out of your house, changing your environment, rubbing shoulders with other filmmakers or guys that are in the business or trying to start a business, I think can be one of the most powerful things.
Oh my gosh, yeah,
you can do, you know?
Completely, man. I feel like, yeah, I mean, that's where I was the first time you invited me out to Colorado to shoot with you. I was, I had, I don't know, a year and a half, 2 years under my belt, and I was just kind of, I thought I had my like set path of the way I shot, and how things were done on a wedding day. But then, getting together with you and Ricardo, I just was able to see like a whole other side of things, and we're bouncing ideas off of each other, and it was really cool to just get a different perspective and get out of your element, like get off of YouTube, like and just be with other creatives. It's really powerful.
Yeah. And you guys still have some spots left for slow retreat?
Yeah, we have 3 rooms left, and if anyone is listening to this,
still,
still, I know it's been rambling for quite a while, but yeah, we have 3 rooms left, and I think the rooms are a little bit different in price, but I think like $600 is what we're offering them for, and that includes 3 nights at an amazing property, and all your food, all your drinks, and you just leave with a network of new friends and people that you could, work with and have a friendship with for the next, hopefully, rest of your life.
Hopefully.
Maybe.
Hopefully. I feel like I still talk to a lot of those guys from the Nashville one. Like, follow them on Instagram and Facebook, obviously, but I feel like I message them and talk to them.
I mean, you ended up shooting with Alexis too, right? Yeah,
Alexis came out and shot, and Amanda came out and shot, and when I was in Michigan, I was trying to grab Erica and Danielle, but they were like already booked and too cool, and
I figured,
and all that.
They do like 100 weddings a year, so.
And the work's good too.
Yeah, I know, exactly. I don't know how you do that. Good work, guys.
Good work. Sweet, dude. Well, we've been chatting a while, probably longer than we thought we were, but anything you would say to those guys kind of starting out first couple of years that, I don't know, any advice, tips, thoughts, wisdom, old man wisdom, come from John Burman from Steelhead Cinema?
Gosh.
Over here?
Nope.
All right.
I'm just kidding. I feel like I already kind of mentioned it earlier. Just, when you're starting out, you're going to take on a ton of work. You're going to do it for really cheap, and there's no problem in that. Like, get practice, like find out what inspires you.
Yeah.
And then from there, you're going to be able to build a portfolio, and once you have a handful under your belt, you'll be able to select and choose just a few of those films that you feel like are your ideal couple, and then people coming to your site will hopefully see consistent style and like resonate with your work, because you don't want to show 20 videos and get a huge spectrum of different people. You really want to hone in on your ideal client, because the longer you do it, you really do want to continue to be, you just want to work with your ideal client, because that's a whole nother topic, but
it makes it more fun.
Yeah, it does.
When you work with people you genuinely like, it just makes everything more fun.
It does. It really does.
That's kind of the beauty of what we do. It's like, we get to choose who we want to work with sometimes, and it's fun. Why not make this thing fun while we're doing it?
Yeah, exactly.
So,
what about you, Adam? Closing words?
I put a lot of thought about it, but I definitely agree with what you're saying. I think passion's really, really important. Like, follow just stuff that you love to do and you love to shoot. I think that I found the people that make it in the wedding business are people that love 2 things. One, they just love shooting. They love making films. They love being creative. They would do that, whether they're at a wedding or not.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other ones I think that really make it are the ones that just really like weddings.
Yeah.
Because there is, like, I mean, you shoot 30 of them a year, whatever it is, and it's easy to get bored, but I think if you really enjoy weddings as well, it can kind of push you through the times where you're not inspired as a filmmaker. So I think if you love filmmaking and you love weddings, then it's a perfect fit for you. But if one of those isn't as important to you, I think that'll reflect in your work personally.
Yeah,
but
definitely, man.
yeah, that's my old man wisdom.
That's great. That's very wise.
Write that one down.
Yeah. I feel like you need to say it in an old man voice, personally, but...
Get out your journal.
Oh gosh, okay. This needs to end.
All right. Signing off. Thanks, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed the beauty of Colorado, if you saw it behind us.
Probably not. We have no idea what this GoPro angle looks like, so...
Or the beauty of John's awesome sunglasses.
Yeah. I've been yawning a lot, too, because it's been so boring talking to Adam.
Oh, my gosh. Alrighty. I'm outie. Done.